I'm not around for this, but a couple minutes later, I just feel 2 gallons of water get dumped on my head from the second floor.
No.
The girl on the second floor dumped a bucket of water out the window onto my head. I was like, what the fuck? I go on stage 30 seconds later, soaking wet, thinking it's going to be funny. And everyone was just like weirded out. They're like, why is this guy so wet? I'm like, the girl just dumped water on me. And I'm like, this is not part of my bit. I'm not like the wet comedian. I'm like, before I go on stage, I'm like, oh man, can you believe it?
Yeah.
This truck just drove through a puddle. Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course you were.
Oh, yeah. Hi, welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis Ellis, and joined as ever by Giulio Gallerati.
Let's go.
He's here, and you're looking fresh.
Thanks, dude.
Looking fresh as a daisy.
Dude, so a couple things. First of all, now we have this new studio set up, which is great. But like not last time, like over the past couple episodes, I was like sitting like this for a while in like sort of tighter pants.
Yeah, this is a very good comment.
And
I'm with you. I'm self-conscious about it.
Dude, somebody messaged me being like, yo, they did you dirty with this angle. And it's just like all up in my shit and it just looks really like, and I'm like, dude, fucking A.
It's tough. There's no flattering way to sit in tight pants as a man facing the camera.
With your fucking crotch out.
Because it's not as though it accentuates your bits and pieces.
Your B's and P's.
In
dude.
a nice way. It's not that picture of the game in his spandex. This big old trouser snake outlined for all to see. It's more like
the hose.
I don't know. It looks like we took a dump in the front of our pants.
And guys, specifically, I don't think it was on one of our episodes. I think it was on somebody else's, if I recall.
Yeah.
But it's so funny.
Well, dude, let me think here. So I just took an Uber here, and we were on the West Side Highway, and the guy, you can tell immediately when you get into an Uber what type of ride you're in for. What type of a driver you've got. And I mean his skill as a driver.
Oh, interesting.
And I knew the second I got in, I was in for a stunt man in training, no regard for human life type of ride.
Well, I will say this, like in New York, there is less of a spectrum because it seems like they're more regulated. You're more likely to get someone super professional. I don't know specifically where you're going with this, but like you're less likely to encounter a wild card scenario.
Yeah, that's probably true. But this guy, I mean, you know what drives me crazy is when we stop at a light and they do that thing where they stop and then they inch forward 3 inches and then stop and then they inch forward 3 inches and stop. It's as though they're trying to time
Right.
a rolling start
Right.
into the light turning green, which based on the NFL Combine, we all know that a rolling start is illegal. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah. False start.
You can't
55.
When you're doing the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, you can't roll into that start.
Right.
You got to go from
right.
static stillness.
That's funny,
And
yeah.
so he was doing that, he was accelerating quickly. And then we're on the West Side Highway, and he starts to gently merge into the lane to the right. And all of a sudden, I am 2 inches from a car.
Wow.
My window. Because
Wow.
he just doesn't see that there's a car right there. And I had to go, whoa. I gave him one of those. Whoa.
Whoa.
5 woes. 5 woes.
Dude, I know the exact whoa.
I climbed the woe ladder.
The whoa escalation.
Whoa. Like
Whoa.
And then he like came back in and blamed the other guy.
Oh, classic.
And was like,
This fucking guy.
I was trying to merge over and he just wouldn't let me in. I'm like, dude, that guy was there the whole time.
That guy was already there.
You should know by my woes that I was watching. Those were watchful woes. That wasn't a surprise. Wasn't a, whoa! I didn't catch that at the last second that the car.
Right.
I gave you, we're getting closer. It was sort of like if you're backing up and you have the beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep. That was it. It was the woes of that.
That's good.
I gave him approaching woes.
That's good.
And I'm like, dude, you can't fucking tell me
That's good.
that guy wasn't there the whole time. So,
That's excellent.
and then, right, there's something strange about coaching an Uber driver, right? I don't want to do it. It's not my job. I'm in the car to get to my destination, and I'm paying for an Uber because I want to relax a little bit. Life is hectic enough. Here's a little treat. A nice $34 ride to work.
What is the coaching that's occurring?
Well, the
Like
woes.
the woes. Okay. So, dude, one thing that I don't like, and some people that I know do it, and who knows, maybe they're right, but when they start criticizing the Uber driver's route when he's just doing what it says.
Yeah. I'm not that guy.
I hate that.
I'm not that guy.
Why? And like it gives this sort of like 90s skepticism of cab drivers.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, like he's just looking at the thing.
Yeah.
Your way is unlikely to be better. This is a computer.
Blame the software.
This computer knows more than you, most likely.
Exactly. I agree with that. With that said, I have had Uber drivers that they couldn't tell which way the software was telling them to go and made wrong turns.
Right.
And watching your GPS reset
That's brutal.
and add 4 minutes is frustrating.
Yeah, that's not good.
That happens once, and then, man, oof. I told you about that time we drove
Stressful.
home from Newark, and the guy took us on a merry tour of New
Yeah,
Jersey.
yeah, dude.
We ended up going through Staten Island. I mean, it was nuts.
But that's the way. Were you going to Brooklyn?
Yeah, but
That's like the way to go.
Yeah, but we basically got to Manhattan and then went back
Oh yeah, okay.
down
Yeah,
to Staten Island.
He fucked up because something was closed or something.
No, he just couldn't read the arrows. I don't know if he was seeing double.
Oh
or
yeah, I remember this. And you guys got in late too.
We got in really late.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And my wife was doing that thing where she, talks to me to blame him out loud.
Yeah.
That thing where she's like, does he realize that he's fucking up? You know?
Yeah. I have a bit about this. Like, I get in trouble for shit that I like.
Yeah.
I'm the nearest comfortable person to yell at.
Right.
So I take it on the chin.
It's like being a whipping boy. Did you ever read that book, The Whipping Boy?
Maybe. It sounds familiar.
I don't even remember why. This was first grade. We had this book, The Whipping Boy. Check out The Whipping Boy, Ryan. The story was there was this kid who was there was a petulant prince.
Sounds right up Ryan's alley, by the way.
A prince.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there was a prince, I think, who was very petulant. He was rambunctious, and he would get into all kinds of horseplay and mischief and tomfoolery. But any time that he got into trouble, it was illegal to punish physically a prince. I think you couldn't hit a member of the royal family, and so they had appointed for him a whipping boy, upon whom the lash would ravish its blows, and he'd have to watch, I think. And
I'm
say,
sure he didn't give a fuck.
No, of course not. You can't punish someone by proxy.
I mean, you could, we'd feel bad about that.
Yeah, but I don't think this whipping boy had the sympathy.
Right. Back in the day, there was too big of a divide between the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots were literally like animals.
Right.
to the princes.
And I think that the way the story turned was that somehow the whipping boy and the prince traded places. There was some kind of swapping of identity, and
oh yeah,
at that point, the whipping boy, the prince rather, understood the pain of being whipped. Is that right?
Is that like the Prince and the Pauper, or is this?
That's correct.
I have this right. By the way, this story was read to me by my first grade teacher, and
89 pages. That's a lot.
Wow.
Retention, bro.
Yeah.
Impressive.
That's crazy. You
What does it say?
Well, your synopsis is spot on. The moral
I'm happy about that.
The moral of the whipping boy is that common ground and friendship can be established between people of different backgrounds, particularly when they are working together for a common goal.
Interesting.
So they do the place switching, and they
Yeah.
both get spanked.
That was not the moral I took when I was that age. I think the moral I took was like, if you get rich enough, you can get someone else to take your beatings. You can hire someone to get the shit kicked out of them for you. Pretty nice.
That's good, dude.
Before we hop off this Uber thing, I got an Uber last week, and the guy was like, "Do you know a better way to get there?" And I was like, "No." And he was like mad at me that that it was
Where
going to
was
take
this?
long.
That's so
It was in
annoying.
Bushwick.
Oh, it was in New York.
Yeah. I was just
Wow.
like taking an Uber to somewhere else in Brooklyn.
Dude,
That's
he was like-
interesting. I could see that
Why you
super
asking
happening.
annoying. That's like an LA thing to happen.
It's a
Yeah.
country thing.
Right. But in LA, like people always complain about the fact that like Uber drivers will come from like, 50 miles away and not know their way around. And like this is sounding familiar to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, so we kept going, right? And now this guy, I got the sense that he was now thinking that I was critical of him. Because we then were do you know on I think it's 26th Street, there's a very strange road in Manhattan. Out of nowhere, you have this cross street. I think it's between 9th and 8th Avenue, which winds. You have one cross street, and
I don't remember.
it goes between housing projects.
Okay.
So it's like 26th or 28th
But
Street.
does it like snake wind, or you mean
yeah,
it
it's
like
snakes.
I know it. Yeah.
It's snakes.
Is it 26th Street?
It's either 26th or 28th. But
Okay,
out of
yeah,
nowhere,
I
you
know
just
it.
have a winding
Yeah.
block.
Yeah, I know it.
That makes no sense, and I've always wondered why that's the case, but whatever. So we're on that, and there's scaffolding on the right side, out of which a Caterpillar, one of those small tractors, one of those little ones that looks like it would plow a sidewalk but not a road.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it looks more like a street sweeper.
For one guy. There's only one guy that can fit in those.
Does it have the
things.
forklift
Not
thing?
a street sweeper. Smaller than a forklift.
Okay.
Sort of the Volkswagen Bug of construction equipment.
But does it have the forklift thing in the front?
No.
Okay.
But it could put a little plow on there, probably.
got
You
it.
could probably put a plow on there. You know what I'm
Nice.
talking about? Nope, not that. Yeah, that's closer.
Yeah.
That's closer. But
Okay.
it was one of those without the plow. Not that. That's too big. Yeah, that's too small. Here's this one up there. A skid steer, a compact truck loader. That looks about right. So one of those guys is backing out of a scaffolding area. And we're going and driving. And that guy, it certainly appeared to me, the guy in the Caterpillar did not see us coming. And I see him backing out, and we're getting closer. And I went, whoa. I gave him half a whoa. And he immediately looked in the mirror and he goes, what?
Oh wow.
He goes,
Too many
what?
woes. You had woed him.
Shit.
I gave him too many woes. He was not, after the first salvo of woes, he had become very tired of my woefulness.
Mm.
And looked in the mirror, gave me one of those, what?
Oh shit.
Like, are you going to try to, is there something wrong? I saw it, but I don't know that he did.
Right. He was like, all right, maybe I'll give him the first woes.
Mm.
And now he was trying to act like you woe too easily.
Yeah.
And
I folded
he's
like
pushing back.
I folded like an origami swan. There's something about getting that look in the mirror. He said, what? And I went, oh, I wasn't sure if that guy could see us.
Okay.
Nice save.
School of defensive driving.
Yeah. And then he didn't respond. He just went back to driving.
I'm a punk, dude.
Yeah. It was a testy ride in this morning. Testy, I would say. But that was my experience this morning just now.
Well, dude, I had an interesting evening. So
Oh.
I didn't really do anything. Francis was trying to rally me to have some cocktails. I did have one for the sake of the squad,
I made Julio drink.
which
That's
I
also-
mixed with a hangobi, by the
You
way.
also, because also I know that you had said you're committed to drinking every night until Christmas.
I know. I ran out of steam. I ran out of steam.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I did 5 nights in a row, and then like including a Sunday night, and then Monday I was like, wow, I just like don't feel healthy,
Yeah,
and like not even like I was literally just starting to get sick, and it was just like I was
that's
like,
not
okay,
fun.
I'm done. I'm done.
So you were drinking. I mean, it sounds like you were drinking hard every night.
No. Okay, so let's think. We started Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so I think I drank fairly hard Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, I had to rally, and then Sunday I had like a couple, but it was like wedding. It was like when you go too hard at the rehearsal dinner, the way the rest of the weekend feels. That was sort of my week.
Yeah. When you sent me that text, I got excited though.
Yeah.
I said, Julio's really seeing the ball right now. Because you said to me, I'm gonna drink every night till Christmas. and what did you say after that? You said something like, I'm not a bitch or something?
Something stupid,
Nice.
yeah.
I'm not gonna bitch out.
I was like, I'm not. Well, this might take a while to get to find this, but I said something good like that.
It was good. It made me inspired. And therefore I figured you were probably still, crushing it, and therefore I wanted to join the train with you. I wanted to hop on for a stop.
Yeah, I know.
To join you for a leg of your quest.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm glad you were able to take the torch.
Yeah.
On this relay.
I had such a stressful day that I just said, let me ask you this. Is it when you have a really stressful day and you say to yourself, I need a drink.
Mm-hmm.
I need a drink. How bad is that? Is that bad that you're treating stress with booze?
Probably.
Huh.
It's not great.
The problem is that it works.
Right.
That's
and
the problem.
It's like a cliche, like I think I've quoted this before, like Michael Douglas in Traffic. I just have one drink after dinner to take the edge off.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Michael Douglas.
But I always think of that. And
what is that in reference to? Is he talking about how his daughter's a drug addict?
I think the mother makes some comment about his drinking because he's like drinking a scotch and he hasn't been around or something.
Right.
And he's like undoing his tie while he says it, type of thing.
And their daughter, meanwhile, is shooting heroin into her foot.
The daughter's having a tough go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's such an amazing scene. There's such an amazing scene in that movie. What a movie! But
That's a good movie.
the scene where he's I think he's appointed like the drug czar of the presidential administration, and he's supposed to give a big speech about the war on drugs, and he just completely kind of gives up and says, "How can I do this? How can I have a war against my own family or something like that?"
Right. Yeah, that's
this
a good
is
scene.
happening to our own children.
That's a good scene.
Yeah.
Steven Soderbergh, good movie.
Yeah.
Well, dude, so this is the thing. Sometimes, like, I'll have that feeling in the reverse. Like, if I have a really big, stimulating day, I also am like, we should drink. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
celebratory. That's probably better.
But not even but I can get carried away. Not like carried away with that idea, because it's like celebratory, yes, but it's also like, okay, anytime anything good happens, we can't just be
there. It's like
burning
there's
it down.
I still true, but I still think I've earned it is better than I need it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I needed it yesterday. I needed
They're
a drink.
versions of the same thing, but I do agree. You're like, oh man, this has been a tough day. I need a drink.
Right.
So that happened to you yesterday? I mean, dude, it's happened to me too. And it'll happen in a much more like much less exciting circumstances. Like I know what you did what you were doing yesterday.
Yeah.
I know what you did yesterday. And I know you were bouncing all over the place. So like I understand,
Julio is such a tempered person. Is such a level and steady force in my life that when I'm going through a car wash, I tend to just call him. I call you and let you know because you soak it up. Doesn't seem to ruffle your feathers too much. And I wonder if that's a burden on you.
So it's funny. He always sort of leads with this. Like he's always sort of like wants to know that there is a possibility that he's overreaching by calling to chat. You always lead with that, which is you don't have to do that to it.
Well, lately I've just been saying I've got one for you.
Yeah, and you.
I just start the call. I don't even say hello. I say I've got one for you.
So and you even
I think we should tell that story.
I got one for you. Which one?
The one I told you last. I think it was earlier this week. Monday. Yeah, Monday. I think it was Monday. I was driving home.
I mean, I remember.
I called you.
Yeah, I remember. But
so much shit's been happening in my life that you probably can't even fucking.
No, what can you refresh my memory?
Yeah, well, I'll tell the story.
Okay.
I'm driving home from the stand. It's late. It's 11 o'clock. It must have been. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. And I go through. I'm driving down Bowery on the sort of Lower East Side of Manhattan. And I'm driving the speed limit, and I go through a green light on Houston Street.
No, this was last Thursday.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was raining.
It was raining, and I see a group of 4 people, and they're they've come off the curb and they're in the street, and they're sort of flailing around a little bit. They're not patiently waiting for traffic to pass so that they can cross. They were almost looking like if you didn't pay attention and they weren't paying attention, at any second one of them could step out into traffic
Right.
and you might hit them. Yeah. But I think they were drunk or whatever, but they were good-looking people. They were well-dressed. They were dressed for a night out. The two guys were tall and handsome, and the two girls were dolled up. And I could just tell this. And I'm looking at them, and one of the guys, as I'm about to pass, takes a glass bottle and underhand lobs it at my car.
Whoa.
And it's smashed off the front of my car.
It's crazy.
Just threw it completely intentionally at me.
I'm thinking of like the guy from White Lotus, the British kid.
Yes.
Aye, aye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, but he's not going to hit it in it. He's not going to hit it in it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yours was better. Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, he was timing it. He was trying to hit my car.
So annoying.
And it hit my car, and I pulled over. I pulled over about 20 or 30. I had to slow down so traffic didn't hit me, and then I pulled over onto the side of the street that he was on, and I got out of the car. Now, my plan was not to confront him when I got out. My plan was, did that really just happen? And then I guess I need to see if there's damage.
How? Oh, so did you even look at the guy when you got out?
Well, the problem was that when I got out, he had been watching me, and he saw me get out, and then he started walking towards me.
Wow.
Whoa.
And that's when I said,
Whoa.
uh-oh.
Yeah, like you said, if you get
Is
out of the
this-
car,
is
we've
this-
talked about this before.
Is this real?
We've
Is this-
foreshadowed this moment. If you're gonna get out of the car, you got to be ready for shit to go
What-
down.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know.
Just keep driving?
You have to assume. Okay, in this situation, a guy lobs a beer at your car,
Yeah.
right? Yes, you should be able to fuck this guy up if you wanted.
By the way,
But
it might not have even been a beer. It might have been a quart of vodka.
yeah, intentional lob at the car. So yes, you should fuck that guy up. However, what type of person does that to begin with?
Someone who wants to fight.
The type of person who is asking for trouble and either has found it previously and is looking to find more of it.
Yeah.
And I can't help but remember the stabbing story, which we've told on the podcast, where these guys that I knew got into it with a bad dude. He ends up stabbing one of the guys and he almost dies.
Yeah.
Now, was that worth it? Just let the guy take the taxi. Do you want to be in this situation where the guy's girl's like, fuck him up, baby? Like, you don't want to be involved with those kind of people.
No, I know.
So if my answer is, unfortunately, I may have stopped the car too. Like the time where I pretended to record the people who were throwing M&Ms at my head and they surrounded me.
Yeah.
I realized when I got surrounded that was a huge mistake. I was
Yeah.
about to be beaten up by teenagers.
Yeah.
So I see why you did it. I probably would have done it too, but it was probably not the right move.
No, okay, so when I pulled over, I wasn't angry. I was more shocked, and then I thought I needed time to figure out what to do. And I also think that what I really wanted was a police officer. I think I really wanted a cop. And I'm sorry to sound like a little snitchy bitch. I'm sorry if I sound like a Karen. But when you're driving and someone throws a bottle of vodka and this wasn't a homeless guy, it wasn't a crazy person, it was just a fucking asshole. It was an entitled asshole. Because I got out of the car, he started walking towards me and almost like loosening up. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I have taken 7 boxing lessons.
Let's see what's up.
That's it. And here we go. And I was a little nervous, but then the girl he was with grabbed his arm and sort of really pulled him back.
Wow.
and they're still probably 30 yards away. And they then crossed the street and then I watched them this whole time. I'm standing outside of my car. And then they walked down the sidewalk. So they came closer to me, right? Where I was, parallel to me, right? On the other side of the street now. And they got in line at a nightclub and cut the whole line. They cut everybody that was in. It was like probably 15 people in a mass, not a line outside, and they sort of just shouldered their way past them.
Was it Katra?
It was the Highlight Room.
Okay.
Do you know that place?
Yeah, it used to be Vandal.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know it.
Yeah.
But get this. I watched them go in, and the fact that he cut all those people and then got in made me think, okay, well, clearly this guy has some kind of social status, right? Which may inform why he thought he could lob a bottle of first of all, who's drinking that much booze in the street?
Well, was it it was vodka?
I don't know what it was. It wasn't water.
No, I know, but you said a beer initially, and then you said maybe it was vodka.
I just don't know what it was. I mean, it made a huge sound against my car.
This guy sounds more like, though, of the two groups of people who are skipping the line, there's like the people spending a lot of money, and there's the people who know the people running the party. He seems like the latter to me.
It may be. Yeah, I think he knew the doorman.
He knows somebody. Yeah,
he goes in, and then he goes inside. I'm still looking for a cop, because now I know where he is.
Right.
I know where he's going to be for the next couple of hours. And I'm just trying to find a police officer, because nothing would make me happier than to walk into a fucking nightclub with a gaggle of cops.
That's
him.
Like,
that's the man. That's the miscreant. Deal him justice.
Take him away.
Yeah, take him away, Johnny. Watch him get cuffed.
Dude.
And no cops were around. And I wasn't going to call a cop.
So, dude, it's funny. Like, I've had a similar experience to this where I don't know if I've ever I think I've definitely told this story years ago on the pod maybe, but I was waiting to go on stage at barbershop. And I guess the people who lived upstairs, who walked in, by the way, and told some of the guys out front to fuck off. I wasn't part of this exchange. They had been annoyed previously about the noise, whatever.
Barbershop is a comedy show, by the way. It's
yeah.
Run out of a barbershop.
Out of a barbershop,
really
Lower
fun.
East Side. It's cool. Shout out to Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever. I'm not around for this, but a couple minutes later, I just feel 2 gallons of water get dumped on my head from the second floor.
No.
The girl on the second floor dumped a bucket of water out the window onto my head.
Wow.
Dude, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? I go on stage 30 seconds later, soaking wet. Thinking it's going to be funny. And everyone was just like weirded out. They're like, why is this guy so wet? I'm like, the girl just dumped water on me. And I'm like, this is not part of my bit. I'm not like the wet comedian. I'm like, before I go on stage, I'm like, oh man, can you believe it?
Yeah.
This truck just drove through a puddle. The wet comedian, dude.
What a wacky bit.
Yeah, they thought that was my bit. So, dude, I called the police later in the evening. And I was like, da-da-da. I was like, this is where it happened. Someone dumped a bucket of water. And the guy was like, dumped a bucket of water on you. Okay, got it. So what exactly do you want us to do? I'm like, are you serious? Apprehend this person. And they're like, sir, I don't know. It just sounds like maybe there was somebody who was drunk. And they refused to do anything.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like there's a chance that they would have been like, I don't know what to tell you, pal. Did you see? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there damage on your car?
Right.
Sir, go home.
Right.
You know, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes. And it's such a tough pill to swallow, knowing that justice will not be dealt to that horrible anarchist.
Yeah. And the cops are almost shaming you for calling them. It's like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if they would have, but you're
'cause you
probably right.
But dude, okay, snitching, clearly the idea of snitching was just created by arch criminals.
Yes.
To be able to get away with their crime.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, I understand. There's one thing about going down with the group and then snitching to save yourself.
Yeah.
That is like dishonorable behavior.
Right.
I'll give you that.
Right.
However, if you saw somebody do something fucked up and you had nothing to do with it, how are you a snitch
Right. I agree.
for wanting to get rid of that from
I
happening?
agree. Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. We're not in the mafia.
Yeah,
We're not
dude.
on the streets.
Right.
This isn't our corner. You know, it's not like a betrayal of our creed
Totally.
to invoke law enforcement to right wrongs. I think that's what we
Invoke
deserve
law
as
enforcement.
taxpayers, but I'm sure I sound very Karen-y right now.
The taxpayer thing always is funny to me.
So we don't go there?
I don't know, but this is where my money's going to. The guy who says that typically has contributed not too much of an
I
amount to
agree.
the-
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree. But, you know, I don't call the police. I really don't. I have I ever? I'm not sure that have you ever called? You said you did.
I have a couple times.
What else?
I did that one time. The second time, I thought I was like in high school, dude. I thought that somebody had like broken into my house, like the deck door was open somehow. I don't know, and I like very quickly. I handled the panic really easily. I walked downstairs to my girlfriend. And I was like, hey, we need to go.
Oh my God.
I'll explain why later. But we need to go right now. She's like, okay. We get in the car. I call the police. They come to the house and search the house, and like. They treated us so nicely, dude.
Yeah.
It was like crazy. They're like, oh yeah, maybe, so we don't see anything. I think you guys are good. Like he didn't want to make me feel embarrassed for calling the police when nothing had happened.
Right.
There's that. And then the deer story, of course,
Oh, yeah.
where the cop thought I was lying about hitting a deer. This is another old story, but he separated me and my friend and tried to like get the truth out of us. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, well, this is what happened. We hit the deer. Like, what do you mean? Oh yeah, where were you? And we're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Did
Dude?
the deer pay you?
Yeah, I was being a dick. I was being a dick to the cop, and my dad's like, Julia, what are you doing? And the cop goes up to my dad, takes his glasses off. He's like, better question is, what was your kid doing out at 4 a.m. last night? You know what I mean?
Oh.
And my dad was like, oh, I was like, Dad, you should have been like, fuck you, is what he was doing.
Yeah,
It's none of your
right.
fucking business, dude.
Right.
Father sheriff, like, what is
Yeah.
this, dude? Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of my face.
Sounds like those deer gave him a couple bucks.
Oh!
Sounds like he had a little dough in his pocket.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Come on! That is good, dude. That is good. Take that, Anus Pod. Take that.
Oh man, we're having fun.
That's real good.
I just remembered though that I have called the police a few times. Well, the one we talked about was the guy breaking into my home.
Oh my God, dude. I told that story to some people the other night, and they were like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, waking up with somebody in your home is bad, especially when you're naked.
Dude.
You're so vulnerable.
Oh my God,
My
dude.
night
Totally.
guard in. You know,
How-
what are you doing
What are you
here?
doing in here?
What are you doing in here?
Dude, you probably just looked like a monster in the shadows, naked.
yeah.
Man,
No,
that
but
guy ended up dying.
he died.
It's an insane.
That guy died. Yeah.
And he was also in cahoots with your landlord.
That was the thought. Yes.
This is like some sort of horror TV show.
Yeah. It's
know?
good. It's a good
Some
one.
sort of suspense thriller.
I know we've told that story on the pod though.
Everybody's
so,
in on it. Yeah. We're
Um,
rehashing some old memories. We're doing a greatest hits episode without even meaning to.
yeah, without it. Look at us. Look at us. Eclipse episode.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Unless you have more about this.
Well,
particular
to
subject.
finish the
Go ahead.
story of what I did to this guy, I walked across the street and immediately I saw a doorman that I knew from
Yeah.
back in the day when I used to go to places that had doormen at nightclubs or, bars. And this guy, I don't know if he works at every single nightclub in New York, but I'm telling you, he has worked so many places that I've gone. He was the doorman at Rushmeyer's in Montauk. He was the doorman at Up and Down. He was the doorman, I think, at the One Hotel in Brooklyn. They have a rooftop.
Mhm.
And I've seen him so many times. He's the type of guy that, like, people have his phone number. His name's Benny. It's Benny, and he's always wearing a
Yeah.
beanie, even in the summer. But of all the doormen I've ever met, he's the one who seems to be the least power hungry or seems to get off the least to his position of gatekeeper.
Mhm.
and has worked at, pretty elite places, I guess you'd say. But I walked over and I was like, hey, I'm not even trying to come in. I immediately I started with that because he's looking at me and I'm not wearing the type of clothes that would behoove me to gain entrance to this establishment. I was wearing shit, I had a shitty outfit on. So I just cleared that up immediately. I was like, I'm not trying to come in. This is what just happened. One guy I watched come into your nightclub just threw a bottle at my car. It's that car over there. And he just walked in here. And the guy goes, oh, man, that sucks. He goes, oh, really? That sucks. He goes, is that your car over there? And I was like, yeah, that's my car. And he goes, ah. And I said the guy was wearing a yellow, trench coat, a yellow raincoat. Like fucking
Paddington.
Curious George or some shit. Yeah. And, but it was a long one. It was nice. And he turned to the guy behind him and he goes, did a guy with a yellow coat just come in here? And the guy went, yeah. And I went, he goes, all right, so what do you want to do about it? Like, what do you want us to, what do you want to do here? And I was like, I don't know. I don't care that much. I realize there's not much to be done, but I just wanted to tell you for some reason. Like, I didn't know what I was stuck. Because clearly that wasn't enough to have them go fetch him and take him out. And I didn't even really want that. I wasn't going to put not that I could put my foot down, but he goes, all right, well, why don't you take my number and you can come in here anytime you want? And I was like, okay. Sweet. And then I just took his number down. And I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah, how do you even redeem that, dude? I feel like that's not redeemable. Hey, dude, I'm the guy who wasn't trying to come in the other night, but this guy, but this guy fucked my car up. Hey, can I come through tonight?
Yeah, I've got 6 dudes, and we're hoping to come by. I don't want to go to that nightclub. I don't even know if it is a good nightclub. And I'm certainly, and I should never have taken his number down. Because then it made it seem like that's what I wanted.
He was doing you a solid or something.
As though I was bringing this news to him and that the payment to me was special access to this underworld of New York nightlife. And I walked home being like, fuck, I should have been better than, that was my loss.
Right.
Was taking his phone number down.
I'm good on your number, dude.
Anyway, that was my story. But man, it bothered me. And this was the second time in only a few days that the hairs, the scruff of my neck had stood on end and the blood in my body had poised for fight.
What was the other time?
The pool guy
with
Lil Sass. And I'm now concerned.
People are out here pressing you. So, dude, it's funny because you're interesting like this because it doesn't take a ton to get you going in this regard, but also a lot of the time the stuff that happens is just like nobody would be.
Yeah.
It's easy to get you started, but you don't blow the fuse either.
Well, you can't.
Because in that situation, people would have lost their shit on that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It bothered me how nonchalant he was about throwing the bottle at my car. Because as I said, it was an underhand lob, which it may sound less bad, but was somehow worse.
Mm-hmm.
It was so casual. It was so nothing's going to happen to me as a result of this. If he'd thrown it overhand, I would have been like, Jesus Christ, that guy's crazy.
Yeah.
He's mad. He's crazy. I don't want to be near that. But something about, yep, here we go. Let's have some fun with traffic.
Dude, it's terrible.
The world is my trash can.
That's not good.
And dude, I this is the thing, right? For probably, I don't know. The last fist fight that I was in was probably when I was 23.
The Montauk one?
This one was on a ski trip. Pretty bad.
What?
Haven't I told you that story?
Oh, you did.
I don't even want to get into it. I'm still ashamed of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I got into a fist fight on a ski trip in the lobby of a hotel late at night, and nobody got hurt. It was just fucking we were throwing each other around.
I've never heard this.
Me
Brad.
versus two guys.
We don't know this.
You know that story?
No, I thought there was one where you were like in the middle of the street in
Oh,
Colorado.
in Telluride. This is
I
different.
thought that was yeah.
Oh, that one I was breaking up. That one I was proud of.
We don't know
guys,
this one.
come on.
Yeah. I don't even think I said that. I think I just pulled the guy by the hood off, and then he looked at me, and I was with Wiley, and Wiley's huge.
Yeah.
And he immediately just was like, "Oh, you guys are right. I shouldn't be doing this." And to watch somebody wilt that quickly was strange.
Mm,
But anyway,
good for him.
yeah, I got into a really silly fight in the French Alps.
Nice.
Wasn't even in the United States.
Oh, really? Jesus.
In some fucking hotel. But that was the last one. And since then, it really had occurred to me, you shouldn't be fighting. Come on. What are you doing? This is so stupid. And, you know, the consequences of fights going wrong are so high. It's not like the movies. You can't just punch someone and have them be like,
What was
you
the
know
fight
what,
over?
buddy? Fuck you. And they walk away. Yeah. What the hell? It's like, oh, you hit me one time? Here comes a lawsuit.
Right.
Or, uh-oh, I just made that guy's head snap back and hit a fucking rock, and now he's got cranial bleeding, and I'm on the hook for hundreds of thousands
Yeah,
of
but you
dollars.
can't just sue people in Europe, bro. It's a different.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna sue you. You're not in America anymore, bitch.
Yeah, maybe Eastern Europe. But I don't know. I feel like France is pretty litigious. Anyway, so I had retired from fighting. I had mastered my emotions. And to all of a sudden feel in such short order after a decade of not feeling this feeling, of all of a sudden feeling like, oh, I'm about to be in a fist fight. Twice in the first time wasn't like I'm about to be in a fist fight. It was like I would fight that guy. And then the second time was truly I'm about to be in a fist fight. Remember what you've learned, which is very little. It bothers me. I'm bothered by this. I'm bothered that I'm ready to go. And I think the problem is that I did take a handful of boxing lessons. I think that was a mistake
Interesting.
because it
Right.
made
It's like
me
if you have a gun,
think-
you're more likely to use it.
Yes, exactly. I think it made me unlocked something in me that thought, oh, now you know.
Was he a big guy?
This guy was big.
So if he kept approaching you and his girl didn't stop him, would you have been ready to throw down? Sounds like
I really
maybe.
wouldn't have wanted to.
But what if he's like, "Fuck you," or like,
I would have said something like, "Why did you throw that bottle at my car?" And I would have tried. I don't know what I would have tried to do.
you would have been like, "Well, I think it's time we have to fight."
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I would have done, but I also was operating under the assumption this guy's shit-faced, which probably gives me an advantage. I knew I was wearing sneakers, which were the right footwear to be wearing in that
This is
situation.
like a Jason Bourne moment where it's like pausing and it's like showing you're very quickly thinking about all the things,
Yeah,
your surroundings.
yeah. I was thinking because I had
You throw a
time-
ball at the scaffolding and it breaks and falls on his head or something. It's like very James Bond moment, dude.
I was sort of looking around and thinking, okay, I have 30 yards before he's here, where I need to take my coat off, and I need to make sure that I'm on the sidewalk and not in the street. And I was just preparing myself mentally for the fact that I was about to be in a fight. And then I started thinking, okay, like, do you want this to go to the ground or not? Is his friend going to jump in? Are there other pedestrians nearby that I can ask for help? And all the while I was really hoping that a police officer was about to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately his wife or whatever, his girlfriend, pulled him back. And the fact that she could pull him back made me realize like he was kind of a bitch you know what I mean? He was just posturing.
Mm.
She was tiny and he was huge.
Mm.
He wasn't thick, but he was tall. He was probably
Mhm.
like 6'4".
Damn.
And I don't know. That's just what happened.
Damn, dude.
And I'm concerned, Julio, that there is a beast that is
Dormant.
getting
within you.
getting a handle on how to open its own cage.
Your inner Mauna Loa ready
Yeah.
to erupt. Dude, people tell me, I've heard things from people about like getting so angry that they like black out. I like cannot relate to that
Me
at
neither.
all. Even when you were like fighting that guy, did you have that? Like
Which
when
one?
you were 23 or whatever?
No, that one the second
I've
the
never
fight
experienced
started,
that.
I was like, oh, I wish this
Didn't happen.
hadn't, and now I just wanted to stop.
Yeah.
But someone put me in a headlock, and then I was fighting two people.
Yeah, there's something really frustrating about this like nightlife, like these like creatures of the night thinking they can just do whatever they want. Like I witnessed something once that I wasn't part of, but like we were in the south of France. We're out at some like giant nightclub and we're sitting at these kids' table and we were like elevated. It was like one of those like big places. The place is literally called Palais. Like massive
Yeah, I know those
inside.
places. Yeah.
So anyway, we're like above the people who don't have tables, right? Not trying to
Ah,
sound cool, but like we're out there.
metaphorically and literally.
So, dude, this guy who we're with is like has a laser pointer and he's like pointing it at people on their heads, like below.
Wow.
And this one guy notices and he's like, and the kid's just like, pfft. Like what? These kids are like teenagers. Now. Like they're not even
those
old enough to be drinking.
Shitty south of France teenagers.
Yeah,
I
like
know exactly who you're
Parents'
talking
money,
about.
like shining shit on people. And the guy starts being like this. So when the guy starts doing this kid shakes up a bottle of champagne and sprays it in the guy's face.
Oh wow.
Okay? The guy's like, he's like far enough down that like we can't hear him, but we see him like, oh, and I'm just kind of like watching in horror. The guy goes and gets one of the security guards and he points up at the table and he's like, duh. And the security guard sees the kid who had done it and he goes, that guy? And the guy goes, yeah. And then he grabbed the guy by the neck and ripped him out of the club and pointed up at the kid and like winked at him.
Shut up, dude.
It was the most unjust thing I've ever seen.
What? That is a table minimum that few can afford.
I think it was something we call it the miracle in the south of France because the bill came and I wasn't paying like my
You
boy.
were with this kid?
No. So okay, my boy who I was with was like, "Oh, I know these guys." And they're like, "You want to throw down on our table?" And they're like, "Yeah." And we get the bill and we're like, "Oh my god, we're not going to be able to pay this." It was like it was a large sum of money.
Yeah.
So he has this credit card that he's not supposed to use that has like a minimum on it that is much less than what we owe. And he just gives the guy the card and somehow it works.
Oh wow.
The miracle on the French Riviera.
Hang on, I'm a little confused. The guy who sprayed the champagne was not part of your table.
He was part of the table.
Jesus
But
Christ.
they
You're
had-
hanging out with these
No,
kinds of folks?
So dude, they already had the table. I don't know this guy, but they're like, "Would you want to get down on the table with us that we already have?" And we're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And we go, and then that happens, and we're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
it's fucked
How
up."
did you know that kid?
The kid I was with knew the kid. He's like
Yeah,
some
that-
kid from London who also lives in New York, like one of these kind of kids.
Oh man, those kids are bad kids.
He's a
dude.
bad kid,
I don't
dude.
like those kids.
He's a bad kid.
Any kid that can get a bouncer to do that is a douche.
Bad
Is a
kid.
dick.
But it reminds me of this story where like
Yeah.
this guy lobs the beer bottle, no repercussions. You have a problem with it, and he has a problem with you having a problem with it.
Yeah, exactly.
How is that fair? And then he just walks into the club and is fine and never has to think about it
The
again.
only peace of mind that I can find, and it's not really peace of mind, is that somehow the world is going to sort him out.
And that is 100% correct.
You think?
Yes.
You think he's going to get what's coming to him?
You can't continue to act like that and get away with it. And that is what I would say to my children someday, to be like, it truly is not worth it. You are not being a bitch by avoiding that conflict. You have too much to lose. You are avoiding, you are a step above this primate human who has,
Right.
you don't do that. You are functioning in a way that separates you from the rest of the food chain, which is what puts us at the top of it. Our
Well,
brains,
that's-
our state of consciousness.
I like that.
You behave properly. It is never worth it.
I drove home, and as I was driving across the Manhattan Bridge, I had brought with me in the car on the way to the stand to do my shows, I had brought a salad. I was eating a salad in the car. I was in such a rush. I've been in such a rush lately that I've been bringing stuff into the car to eat my dinners. And I had brought a salad, and it wasn't even a good salad. It was a salad kit.
Francis rushing to eat salad is a thing we've all experienced in this room, and it's really funny. It's like he's trying to crush it as hard as he can. He just kind of just looks like a horse.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, it's
just
hard
like
to eat
eating
a
as fast
salad
as he can.
fast.
Yeah,
It's
this
hard.
giant salad.
Yeah, I have a big salad. I'm trying to eat it fast. But I had finished the salad, but there were some remnants of the salad in the bowl. And by the way, it wasn't even a salad bowl that I had it in. It was a mixing bowl. That's how fast. It was a chrome silver mixing bowl that I had brought this salad in that had some pieces left in it and the dirty, wet fork. And as I was driving across the Manhattan Bridge, I was envisioning how I could have fought this guy. I was playing the tape in my
Yeah,
mind.
of course.
And I just had this vision of grabbing this wet salad fork and going up to him and having it sort of hidden in my hand and being like, "Did you throw that bottle in my car?" And him be like, for some reason, I pictured him having a tough London accent. "Yeah, what of it, bruv?
Yeah.
Yeah, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?"
Like the soccer guy here.
Yeah. And
Fucking
and I me being like, "Listen, I don't want any trouble," wham,
Yeah.
and just hitting him with the salad fork.
And then him being like,
Is that balsamic vinaigrette? And watching his kidneys fester, internal bleeding as a result of a crouton ending up in a fucking organ. What a pathetic way to die. Something very poetic about being killed with a salad fork. And that was what made me kind of get over it, was picturing murdering this guy with a salad fork.
That's good, man.
Just hitting him right in the kidney or the liver, right in the side of the gut.
Hard not to replay what you could have said or done, but you didn't get injured or
Yeah.
complicate your life.
Let me ask you this, legally, and maybe you don't know, if I take that salad fork with me out of the car to defend myself and he's coming at me and I stab him with it, am I in trouble? Is that on me?
I think you have to like prove that you were defending yourself and you could be fine. But
Well,
I think
he
you
threw
need to
by
prove-
him throwing the bottle.
I know, but still, like the throwing the bottle isn't like you then fighting him. I don't know how that works. I think you still potentially could be on the hook if you just like go up to him and rock him.
You know what I should have done? This is so crazy. A very good friend of mine was gifted for Christmas by a work gift a bottle of bear mace.
Oh God, like bear spray.
I mean, you can hit a bear from 30 yards, which ironically was exactly the distance that I needed. And I told my friends this story via text, and then my buddy, because after
Does it shoot it like a flare?
yeah, it shoots it not like a flare, but a stream. I mean, I think it's truly a
It's like a super soaker.
yeah.
Remember the voice activated one? Fire!
yeah. Dude, and also my sister and I, when we were ever in a hotel with our family and we would see that ad come on,
That's the
we'd
fuck-
go, "Kids commercial, this is something we want to watch." Because we'd be looking for cartoons.
Oh, that's funny.
And
Oh, that's smart.
You knew that the only, because you didn't know what channel
That's
was
clever.
what
That's clever.
in the hotel. You'd just be flicking up 13, 14.
Yeah.
And it'd be like news, sports, and then all of a sudden you'd see the Super Soaker commercial, and you'd be like, "Kids commercial,
Yep.
we want
This
this."
is Nickelodeon.
But yeah, I think, boy, oh boy, imagine how quickly you could ruin that guy's big club night
Yeah,
by hitting him with bear mace at 20 yards.
that would be great.
That's what I need.
Again, bro, maybe
It's illegal, by the way, to have bear mace in
Really?
New York City. But you know what's even more illegal is throwing a bottle at someone's car in traffic.
yeah.
I
But
think the cops are with me on that.
stabbing someone in the neck with a fork, I think, takes the cake, though.
Yeah, that is the rock to the scissors of bear mace. I think I'm gonna get some bear mace though. I think I'm gonna do that. I hope I see that guy
I
again.
don't support this.
You don't support it?
No.
Why
You
not?
don't need all these illegal weapons, dude.
But bear mace is it's defensive.
But you're not allowed to use it.
Well,
What's-
unless provoked.
Not in New York, apparently. I think that like doing illegal shit like makes things not, you know what I mean? You then are in trouble for that.
But don't you think that if a court of law
No, it's the
learned
court
that-
of law. They don't reason. It's like this is the law, even though it's.
all right, well, let's put it this way. I could take a rap. I could take
You'd be down to take a Plaxico to fucking serve this guy.
I could take
Justice?
a whatever it's going to be. It's probably, I bet you I could plead that down to a misdemeanor. That someone threw a bottle at my car as
There
I
you
was
go, bro.
driving
Is
the
it
speed
worth
limit
it?
through traffic.
This is
I
my point.
got out of my car to check the damage, and then he came at me, and so I pulled out my bottle of bear mace that I'm not supposed to have.
And now, but you're alluding to the fact that you're in court 6 months later. It's not worth it, dude. It's just not worth it to have to go to court at all. I'd rather let a guy throw a bottle at my car
All right, well
than
then
to never and never have to go to court than to show him and have to go to court.
riddle me this: what if he throws the bottle and it hits my windshield and cracks my windshield?
Then it's a different story. Now he owes you. Now you want him to pay for the windshield.
Now he owes me his vision,
No, now
which I'm going to ruin with bear mace.
again, it's not.
Early cataracts. Whoops. Should have thought better of throwing a fucking bottle.
Agreed. If there's like lasting damage, then there's now lasting damage. So you having to put yourself in, like, to get him to have to pay requires more things to happen.
Right.
In which case it's worth it. If you're fine, if nothing happened to the car, I say you lose by doing anything else,
Yeah.
potentially.
Jeez Louise.
All right.
Jeez Louise.
Good episode. Hope you guys had a lovely holiday.
Is that the end of the show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did we really talk about that shit the whole time? I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Ryan, what's up? What do you got for us?
Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan.
Hold on one second.
Bottles flying. Facts with Ryan.
Okay, we got quite a bit today because we went all over the place.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Whipping Boy. The Whipping Boy won the Newbery Medal in 1986.
That's a big deal.
And that's an award given to the most distinguishable contribution to American literature for children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Curious George is 17 years older than Paddington. The original Curious George book came out in 41, Paddington 1958.
Wow.
Blacking out when angry is considered intermittent explosive disorder, which involves repeated sudden episodes of impulsive, aggressive, violent behavior, or angry verbal outbursts in which you react grossly out of proportion to the situation.
You fucking mother shitter.
Salad, Guinness Book of World Records, the world record for the fastest head of lettuce eaten is 91 seconds.
Oh.
What? What? That's so silly. Heads of lettuce are all different sizes.
I was thinking that too. There must be a minimum size. Is there a standard size?
I'm sure there is. There's not a lot of salad records, so that might be a fun challenge for you.
Yeah, but wait a
That might be a
minute.
fun challenge for
Doesn't
you.
91 seconds strike you as long?
Yeah, but maybe it's one of those things like the cinnamon in the mouth thing, or like where it does. It's like counterintuitive.
Interesting.
Here, I'll
Okay.
show you the size.
And also, bro, think about like the rind. Think about like the.
Oh, they're eating the whole thing.
So like this, but full.
Is this the guy?
I think this is a guy attempting.
He's just not. He just doesn't look like tough competition.
That
I'm
guy
sorry.
looks
doesn't look that
so
that
shitty.
tough.
That guy looks like
It'd
he's
be-
searching for things to set records for.
It'd be fun for Oops to have a Guinness Book World Record.
That could be
I'm
fun.
sure we could find one.
Uh-huh.
I'm open to it.
And then bear mace on average shoots 5 to 10 feet.
Mm.
And then in New York City, self-defense spray, a couple of laws. Each canister needs to be able to fit in your pocket,
Okay.
and you
Ooh.
can only
That's
buy
helpful.
2 at a time.
Okay.
And also, they must have a self-defense label on them. So it might be tough to carry around bear mace.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's time to buy some pants with some bigger pockets. That's really what it is. Sounds like it's time for me to get some cargo pants.
We got to get Francis out of 2022 unscathed. Got only a few days left.
Yeah, damn.
Hit us up, guys. It's been a good year.
Happy holidays.
We've enjoyed it. Happy holidays.
Can we find you on the road anytime soon?
Yeah,
Julio?
notjulio.com. I got a bunch of dates coming up. The soonest one is going to be in St. Petersburg, Florida, January 20th, Coastal Creative. Looking forward to seeing you there.
That's great. All my dates for my Hero We Need tour. The name is just earning itself even more. We need a hero in these tough times, and you should come out and see me and be a hero as well. I will be in Philly. I think that might be sold out. 2 shows. We added a second show. First one sold out, but that one might be sold out too. Then I'm in Atlanta. That's about to sell out. Nashville's about to sell out. And then I'm in Minneapolis and Austin and Dallas and Chicago. Come out, francisellis.com for tickets. Thank you so much.